Building a strong drug-free community is a shared responsibility, and our next guest makes it their mission to educate parents, focusing on the South Side neighborhoods about being good examples for their children, especially this holiday weekend.
Diana Jimenez-Young from LPKNC is here to tell us more. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great. So tell us, for the viewers who haven't seen LPKNC before, what are they all about?
We're a local coalition that actually focuses in on the South Side, and we work with other coalitions in Pima County to really try to educate and raise awareness with parents around the dangers of drugs and alcohol, and really just trying to keep our kids safe. I know that we're all trying to do the best we can given what we've got, so limited resources, but really trying to just encourage people to get on board and help us out.
And especially this day and age, right?
Absolutely.
It's becoming more and more of a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we know is that our kids are really faced with so many pressures, and always the pressures to want to make the right decisions, but then there's always those things that are going to get in the way to say, well, do they make the right decisions or do they not, especially when they're out of the eyes of parents and caring adults.
Right, you think of the little angel and the little devil on
I
their
know,
shoulders.
right?
Which one is taking over?
Absolutely.
And how do you teach, how do you talk about the safety for these adults and children? Are there programs that you offer?
Absolutely. A lot of them are really just campaigns that we take on in community. A coalition is really built around the people that really are invested in their community, because we know that they know best in how to really solve their challenges and areas of growth. And so we come in just with the community process, and we help them really plan around their goals of what they want to do. And part of that is really engaging parents. Oftentimes parents are so busy, and we believe that, because they're not available or they're not there, that they are not caring or they're not involved.
Right.
But the reality of it is that it really does take a village. And so this is just kind of a process to really take a look at geographically, where are some of the issues that we're having and how can we better solve it as a community.
Right, and you mentioned the parents, and really there's two sides to the equation. There's also the kids part, and there's actually a way for kids to get involved with LPKNC. So tell us a little bit about those programs.
Absolutely. So my main job is actually a program director with Child and Family Resources. So we are a partnering organization with the coalition. And I spend a lot of time in schools and with school districts, really trying to raise the youth as resources. So sometimes we look at youth as we do 2 or 4, but in our process we actually do with youth. So youth leadership, youth development, positive role modeling, where they can do a lot of peer-to-peer engagement. And actually a lot of the work that they're also doing is working with parents and educating parents from a youth perspective.
Nice.
And really saying, this is what's important, this is what you need to know, and this is how you can better communicate and care for us and share a lot of the hard topics that sometimes we don't want to talk about.
Well, and for the parents, it's sort of like help me help you, right?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And so, how widespread is underage drinking these days? I mean, are there hard and fast numbers, or what are the catastrophes like?
Well, our numbers really show us here in Pima County that we do have an issue around underage drinking. But the reality of it is that, most of our kids are making great decisions. And so part of what we're also doing is the social norming campaign, is that typically there's this perception of what is normal or what is typical behavior.
Right.
And so we kind of blanket that all kids are doing drugs, all kids are doing bad, all kids are ditching. And the reality of it is that they're not. So we really want to take a positive spin and really trying to celebrate what are the great things that most youth are doing, because I think that as a parent, to be able to see that and say, that's me too, and you see that in your child and you see that in the successes of not only in your child but in the school and the community, is really, really important for us.
Of course.
But the data does show that we do have about 24 to 27% of our kids who are drinking, and the danger is that it is, and we know that the younger they start, the more likely that they're going to have issues down the road. And the consequences are grave. A lot of the brain development is affected, a lot of school success and academic success that really does get in the way of our youth. And we hear about a lot of the tragedies, unfortunately, after the fact. The drinking and the driving, the suicide rates that we all know. Somehow or another, they're all interconnected. And so we really are just trying to do a lot of primary prevention early on, and using our youth as a way to educate community as well.
Definitely.
And what are the ages that these children are starting to drink that you're noticing?
Well, unfortunately, our data is showing that first age of initiation of alcohol can be as young as 10 years old. First age of initiation of marijuana use is about an average age of 12 these days.
Oh my gosh.
And so we are seeing it younger and younger, and that is why we are concerned. You know, there was a time when we were only working with high school youth, and now we're saying, okay, middle school, and now there's this concept of how do we catch them even earlier than that. So we really are encouraging parents to really talk with your children. We know that it's tough, but we're here to help and to support, and we're here to say, what are some simple ways to be able to do that, to connect with your kids, talk to them about the stuff that's important to them, because we don't know what that is, to really care for them. And when we say care, it's really a different way for us to say, check in. Who are they with? Who are they hanging with? You know, who are their friends? Exactly. And use time in the car, because we all know that we spend so much time in the car, you know, getting kids to places and to just say, you know, use that time to communicate with them. Kids really just want to be listened to, and take that opportunity to talk to them about who are their friends, who are they hanging with,
Right.
what are you going to be doing this weekend,
Just
what
be
do they
aware.
hope to get out of that. And even with our little guys, I think that we can really begin to really build on the family values. We're not here to tell families what their values are. We're here to say build on that as a way to begin to have those important conversations so early on, so that hopefully we are making a difference down the road on that data that we're not seeing 10-year-olds drinking early on.
Absolutely, and I'm sorry that I have to stop you right there, because it is such an important subject. But LPK, thank you so much for being here. I almost forgot to thank you. I mean, wonderful. LPKNC, the Liberty Partnership Kino Neighborhoods Council, reminds you not to serve alcohol to those who are underage this holiday weekend. For more information, call 623-3533 or log on to lpknc.org.
Still